Hey, what's up? This is your boy Elijah Glenn. Welcome back to another edition of Humble Dad. Super excited about today's episode. The first of many to have a series of individuals coming together to talk about what it is to be a man of God and an incredible husband and incredible dad. And so, before anything gets started, I'll be the moderator, the host, just to talk it out about whatever comes up in the conversation we're going to talk about. And so once again, I'm your host, Elijah Glenn, and then we're going to talk about, or we're going to give it over to the men to introduce themselves, if you will. Terrell.
Hey, everybody. Once again, my name is Terrell Wayne Thomas Jr. Man, for me, I would say I'm a family man. That's probably the thing that I really hang my hat on. I'm a family man. You see the shirt. I'm a U.S. Marine as well. But for me, I'm all about legacy. You know, I truly believe that we were purposed to be on this earth, to leave an imprint on this earth that's going to make the next generation that much better. And so that's really what I purpose, my life as is being that trendsetter, being that trailblazer, so to speak, and creating a legacy for our young people. And so what do I do now? I help to, with my nonprofit, I help to break the cycles of fatherlessness and poverty by mentoring the young kings and the young queens. That's what we do. And so we focus on character development, leadership development, and things of that nature, right? But mentorship, just really looking to break those cycles. But yeah, for me, as far as my family, been married to my beautiful wife for a little while, just over 20 years now, and we have 5 amazing kids. My oldest, she's a Marine. My second oldest getting ready to go to a school of his choice, which is TCU, Horned Frogs. but hey, nonetheless, baby, I'm excited to be here, brother Elijah. Like, I really appreciate the opportunity for us to be able to share on your platform. So thank you.
That's what's up, man. My name is hmad Washington, born and raised in Houston, Texas. Got a passion for my family, bro. Like a sincere love for God and appreciation for all he's done in my life to help me get to the space that I'm in. Moved to Waco to attend Baylor University, play football for them. And while I was pursuing a degree in social work, I stumbled upon a beautiful young woman named Jennifer Jordan at the time. Now she's Washington. She was a track all-star at the school. So I had to kind of, trip her a little bit to catch up with her. And man, so we married, got 2 kids, man, boy and a girl, Jade and Jace Washington, man. Man, what I do a number of things, man. I serve as the lead advisor to the president at the Methodist Children's Home. It's a residential child care facility where we serve children, youth, and families. I've served there as a shift worker, a case worker, served there as a pastor for a number of years, and now I'm serving as the lead advisor. In addition to that, I got a passion for impacting young people and families' lives. So I have an organization called Movement Up, where I serve in school districts. Right now, I have a contract with Chilton ISD, elementary, middle, and high school, man, pouring in from individual to small group, and also pouring into the adults that serve there, man, because a lot of times we'll focus on the children and not realize that those children have adults that are in their life who need influence and impact on their lives as well. And also serve as a worship director for a hip hop worship service here in Waco with First United Methodist Church, man. So all those things combine and give me an opportunity to impact lives for the good of the people and for the glory of God, man. That's my heart, bro.
That's what's up. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate that. Terrell? Hopefully I said it right.
Okay, here we go. Hey, so my name is Terrell Richard Sr. I am a father of 2. I have a son, 27 years old, a daughter, 18 years old. I am a youth motivational speaker, student athlete coach, mentor. And I've seen over the years that, our youngsters are kind of struggling. I look back at my upbringing and how I've dealt with some of the things that have occurred in my parents' life. And I know we need to reach back and help these kids. We need to reach back and help these kids without a doubt. So that's why I'm here. I got the opportunity from Terrell to reach out and see if I want to be a part of the book. I said absolutely. And, you know, that's where I'm coming from. I'm from California. I'm the only one out here in California. So, yay, Cali, you know. So, yeah, that's it about me, Terrell Richard Sr. And look, I look forward to doing this again. So thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. KC.
Hello, everyone. My name is KC Grace III. I'm from Houston. I'm about to say H-Town. Born and raised from Houston, Texas. I am my parents' second child. You know, I would say like I'm the connector, and that plays a big part into who I am and what I do and what I believe in. It's like I believe like I'm here to connect people to wherever they need to be, so they can become better than where they started. You know, and I also like to inspire. So as well too. I am a father of one. I have one son. His name is Calais Grace. Grateful to be a father. You know, my life changed when I knew that he was coming, and that's when I always been a man about legacy. Like I said, I'm the third of a generation. So that's really big to me because I was told that what you do, it always based off your name. Your last name is for the generation, and your first name is about you. So that's major to me, and just want to make sure that I'm not a role model, but a real model for my son to follow after as well too. You know, so that's one thing I just inspired to be. I don't want to be a motivational speaker, but I want to be an inspirational speaker. So I'm working on creating like a area, either arena for that as well too. You know, that's because it's new. You know, it's kind of unheard of. You know, because like I said, motivation burns out, and you got to come back and relight people. So that's why I feel like inspiration. It inspires the light that we have already inside of us, and it keeps that spark. You know, once a person loses spark, they give up. So, but like I said, I'm very grateful to be a part of this book. And when I was told about it, I was like, wow. You know, a lot of times, you know, we feel like when opportunities come, we're not ready. You know, we're not ready. We try to get our ducks in a row and try to see about the right timing and best timing. And like, if I never would have just said yes, I wouldn't be right here today. So it's about saying yes when you don't even know, you can't even see past the fall, right? So I'm KC Grace III.
That's what's up. Thanks for sharing. Rashad?
I'm Rashad Horn. I'm from the great state of Mississippi. I'm an author, fellow podcaster, and I own a trucking business. So that's what I do. I'm technically still at work now, but I couldn't miss this particular opportunity. My inspiration for wanting to be a part of this book is just I have a great love and admiration and respect for Terrell. When I first heard his story, because we launched the book together around the same time, and so we've just been vibing ever since then. So when he presented me with the opportunity to be a part of this book, even though I'm not currently a father, I looked and I said, well, I feel like my father was, you know, did a great job in molding me. So let me just put my part within the book based on the greatest lesson that I felt that he ever taught me. So that was my inspiration for being in the book. And so hopefully we can do more things like this in the future.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for the introduction. I wanted to go to Terrell, and my question was like, as everybody was talking, I was interested to know, how did you decide on who to choose? Because everybody did, you know, and then why was the number 13? Were you trying to one up on Jesus or something? Like, what was that about?
Hey, you know, truth of the matter, that 13, I'm going to answer that second question first. 13, it just happened that way. But truth of the matter, that's how it was with Jesus. Jesus, if you count him and his 12 disciples, that was 13. You know what I mean? So we his disciples, baby. So we just model what he does. You know what I mean? But no, it wasn't planned, to be honest with you. That at 13 wasn't. It was just something that where it just kind of worked out that way, to be honest. But as far as the book and as far as the men that are part of this movement, not just a book project, but I like to call it a movement of actually restoring the generational confidence of our young kings and our young queens. I just thought about some of the things that I know about each one of these men that are on this book project, and I felt as if their voice needed to be heard, and I wanted to have our voices to kind of, what's the word, unite in a sense, to unite our voices, you know, so that we can be heard in this particular book. And anyhow, I just knew the value that these men could bring and the impact that they can make on these young kings and these young queens. And so I felt it was important for them to share their story. And that's why I invited them out. That's why they were selected. Now, granted, there are other people that I had reached out to. And as we started to go through the process, you know, they'll wean themselves out. And that's really what happened. The ones that were supposed to be here were the ones that remained. The ones that were not supposed to be here, even though they were invited, many are called, but few are chosen, right? And that's really what it boils down to. But I'm so grateful to be a part of these group of men because of the heart that they have for what we stand for, the mission that we're after. Again, restoring the generational confidence. A lot of our young kings, our young queens, they don't have confidence. They don't believe that their situation can be different. They don't believe that things are going to turn out necessarily the best possible way. They feel as if their reality, their current reality, that's how it is, and that's how it's going to be. And so we want to give them that confidence that, one, it can be different, but also, two, you can be that difference maker. You can be that anomaly. You don't have to be the one that's playing into being another statistic, right? You can be that anomaly, baby. And so that's what this book right here is about. And these men that are part of the project, they're helping to really, when you read their stories, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. They're helping to actually restore that confidence in the generations.
That's what. Thank you for sharing. One thing that I have in mind is the question that for anybody is like, what was when Darrell came to you and said, well, sorry, Terrell W. Thomas Jr. I know you like the whole name right there.
Yeah, Terrell
Wayne Thomas Jr. Okay. Says, you know, I have this book that I'm about to write. Okay. I want to know from your perspective, what did you see that you could bring to the table for you to be able to say yes? Because I know for me, if somebody asked me, I feel like I could bring value, but that doesn't mean that it's going to work for the book. So what value did you feel that you could bring to the book?
That's the value that I begin to think about. Well, first of all, you know, just with the relationship that I have with Terrell, we've worked together in a number of different environments, whether it's working with young people at camps or just linking up to do things to serve the community or to serve young kings and young queens. And so because of those experiences of how we gel and vibe together, I just felt like, bro, like, you know, whatever, I feel like this was a kingdom connection, and that we are in a time and season in the body of Christ where strategic collaboration is important for us to make the impact that God wants us to make. And so in terms of that, I was just really, you know, super prayerful about, you know, our conversation. Like, it was almost, you know, instantly I could have said yes right then, but I was like, man, I just want to be sure, man, I'm gonna pray about it, man. Less than 24 hours, you know, God was like, boy, you know what you're supposed to do. Go ahead and call that joker back and let them know it's time to ride. And so, man, the value that I believe that I had personally, I was like, you know, and I believe each one of us, to be honest with you, we have a unique story that somebody needs to hear. And so it's amazing, because when you think about the number of authors that are involved in this, that everybody has a unique story and experience and background that is going to connect with some young person, some adult. Man, I've had I let an adult proofread my thing because I trusted her editorial eye, and a woman that I could have nothing in common with, a white woman from the, from the area that she was from, all this stuff. And she was like, my child, you described some of my childhood in your story. And it was like through that experience, first of all, God confirmed you're supposed to be a part of this book. Second of all, he confirmed you don't know who I am going to touch by the story that you share. You know what I'm saying? You may have your vision of young kings and young queens, but it's some old kings and some old queens that need to be healed from things that they've experienced as a result of trauma that they went through in their childhood. You know what I'm saying? And so being an example of what redemption and transformation looks like, what healing looks like, how that manifests as a parent now in the lives of my children and in the life of my wife as I serve her as a man of God and a priest and king of my home, So just feeling like, hey, my story is my story. And God knows that there's somebody who needs to hear my story. And Lord, I trust you with that, even though I'm not confident in that, but I trust you in that, God, so that's what's up, bro.
That's what's up. Terrell, you're going to go next, but I wanted to add to what Ahmad said. That's really good, because when you said my story is my story, that is true, right? And when we look at the stories in the Bible, the way in which it's written, everybody had their different flaws and then their strengths, and you're able to see yourself in some people and not some other people, right? Like being a king. Some people will never be a king, but you'll be in an authority, right? In some sort. And some people, there'll be a situation where nobody's going to be chasing you to get your crown, like in the instance of David, right? But there may be somebody else somewhere else that has that scenario. So I like that idea that everybody has a story and you never know who it is that's listening that needs to hear it. That's good stuff. Terrell?
Okay. Well, I met Terrell a little while ago, 9 months ago or so. And, as we began to talk and to communicate, it was something apparent that we had the same sort of ideas, the same sort of outlook on life, right? So I had been telling my lady for years that, there's something bigger for me. There's something more for me. It just so happened I ended up meeting Terrell, right? So I met Terrell. He told me about the book, and I was like, this is the perfect avenue to get my story out there. I want to share something with you guys, if you don't mind. I remember years ago being a youth football coach, anywhere from 5 to 14 years old. I've coached 15 plus years or so. And I remember standing on the sideline with some of the coaches, and one of the coaches asked me, was like, hey, man, what's wrong with you? I'm like, hey, going through some changes, the kids and all. And he said, look at me, man, look at me. So I looked at him. He told me, he says, look around this football field. Look around this football field. So there's, 7 or 8 different teams, coaches, and all this cheer coaches. And the guy said, look, man, a lot of these same coaches and cheer and kids out here going through the same thing you're going through. And when he said that to me, it was like a punch in the mouth, because I'm like, wait a minute, this can't be happening to all of these people. Then he started pointing out people. I'm not going to call out no names, but coach so-and-so over there, cheerleader so-and-so over there, those 2 kids over there. I'm like, no, man, this can't be the norm. It sounds like the norm here. So when I heard that, I'm like, man, there's something more here. There's something more here. Also dealing with the youth, I've noticed that, dropping kids off, picking kids up, I'm finding out that, some of the home life is not the greatest. And because of the home life being so, I'll just say, hectic, it can definitely lead to a kid having problems, But one thing I did also pick up is after I've worked with the kids for a while, I have 25, maybe 30 kids on a team at a time. And after you work with a kid for a while, you start to notice that he kind of picks up on some things. He starts, laughing. He's running a little faster. You start noticing, you can see it in him. And that right there for me, that was the big thing, because I'm like, hey, I worked with this kid for a little while, but he's getting better. He's coming around. So to me, That is the thing that's important. If I can turn the light on to one kid, you know, just one, I'm like, okay, I'm doing my part. But just think about if I can touch 10 or 100 or 1,000, you know. So I know my story. It is deep because it not only talks about me as a parent and my family, but it also talks about the things that others are going through. So in my book, I kind of reach out and I kind of point them out. Hey, if you're a parent, if you're a single parent, if you're going through some changes, if you're a kid, you know, look back at yourself first and don't point the finger at someone else. Look at yourself, see if you can make some improvements, some changes. So that's what it boils down to me about, you know. I think that, you know, I'm happy to meet all these guys because we all have a distinct voice and each one of our voices will touch someone, if not a lot of people. So that's where I'm coming from. I know there's some kid that's going to read this story and he's going to be like, man, that sounds like me. Or man, my cousin was that. Or my family, you know. And that's what it is all about for me. I just want to reach back and help some youngster, you know, pave their way. You know, make it easy for a youngster to, hey, you know, Coach T was going through that. Or Coach T's son was going through that. And just make it easier for them, you know. And hopefully one day they'll say, hey, T, I read your book, man. It helped me out. So, all right. So that's what it is about me, fellas.
That's what's up. Casey, I wanted to ask you like somewhat of a different question. What is it? Who would you say is the audience for this book? Would you have an idea? Like when you was writing, did you have an idea of who you was writing to, or who would be the individual that would, I guess, get the most value from your story?
Yes, sir. I would say anybody that's dealing, like, just to speak a little bit about my story was basically, it was something that I was dealing with even when Darrell asked me about even joining. It was, you know, a lot of times we deal with mind battles. And that's the one thing that always count us out is the thoughts. It's the thoughts and these thoughts become lies that we hold truth to, and they're not the truth. So it's it was more or less for men, for fathers, because a lot of times fathers hold on to the lies in which they grew up under as well too, saying what they could and cannot do, and they follow that mold, you know. And then also for young men that's fatherless, to also know that, hey, you still blessed and you can still do it as well too. And then also for the single fathers as well too. And then also for just, you know, and not just young men, it's for everybody, because I mean, we're not exempt. Like, you know, I love music and I love quotes and things like that. And it was I was just listening to a song by MJG, and he said something that was powerful. He said that hard times do not discriminate; they only intimidate and fully eliminate people without any faith. If it wasn't for the pitfalls in my life, I would have never learned how to climb out. Some things you can't be told. Some things you just have to find out. So, and that's like, you know, just hearing that, like, you know, that kind of, you know, goes in your head, and then you like kind of sit there and ponder, like, okay, what I need to do, you know? So, and that's why I feel like the audience is bigger than what I can see. And that's what the Lord told me, you know, it's bigger than what I can see. And when you move it's funny, when you move I out of the picture, then you can really see the bigger picture. So
that's what's up, man. You said when you move I out, you can see the bigger picture, meaning that it's not your vision. I mean, it's as far as like in the sense of God ultimately has an idea, or he has the game plan, if you will, in which direction you need to go. So if you move out of your own way, it basically comes down to will, right? Do I want his will to be done, or do I want my will to be done? Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I do agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just saying, I'm trying to summarize to make sure I heard you clearly, is that once you get out of your own way and saying that this is it's not my will, similar to what Jesus said on the cross before he went to the cross, not my will, but thy will be done. Right. That's really what it seems to come down to. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Getting pretty much you out of the way, and it's the battle that we have on the inside. It's an inside battle, and once we deal with the inside battle, everything else comes. It gets clear. We can see clear, and we can become who we saw, who we was anyway. Because just like Joseph saw himself, and he had to expose himself. A lot of people say when Joseph exposed himself, he messed up. I disagree, because when Joseph exposed himself, that actually helped his dream come about, because he went through betrayal and things like that. But if his family would never have sold him out, he would never been helped out by being around people that actually could bring his dream about. And everybody have a role to play as we go through life. Like there's season and changes that we go through where people, they play a role in getting us to where we need to be. So like I said, once I remove myself out of the picture, then I just know that like this chapter is just like I believe like my chapter that God blessed me with is like the preliminary that set the stage for the rest of my brother's story.
That's what's up. I see what you're saying. So Rashad, with that being said, what role do you see that you play in the creation of the book? And as we read it, we'll see your story, but what do you feel like you're fitting at in?
I feel like the role that I played, seeing is that I was the only participant that wasn't a father. I feel like that my role was to kind of speak about it from the child standpoint. I know some of my co-authors, they took it back to their childhood, but I'm actually still seemingly in my childhood for the most part because of the relationship that my father and I have. So I felt like it was important for me to not only talk about some of the things my father taught me, but also just how that has helped me and how I feel like having a father that's assertive, that gives you a little tough love every now and again, how that can shape and mold you into a person that he can look at and say, hey, I'm proud of him. He has my last name. He's not embarrassing me or the family in any stretch of, by any stretch of the imagination. So I felt like that was the part that I brought, because I'm still learning through my father what it's like to be a father from a child that was a newborn, and I'm 31 years of age now. So I'm still seeing how he works with me. So seemingly I have 31 years of experience I can look back on based on how I saw him work with me, that I'm able to, when I have a child, whether it's a young king or a young queen, I can impute those values and those morals within them. So I felt like that was the part that I brought out in the story.
That's what's up, man. Thank you for sharing that. The reason why I asked the question is because we sometimes don't understand that we have a role or know what that role is, right? We know we've been asked to do something, but is what I'm going to do be valuable or be productive enough to help somebody else? Because sometimes people just say yes to say yes, right? We know that, right? But I like that Terrell actually asked multiple people, and you can see how it dwindled down to basically the 12, right? And it's very much similar to the gospel, where there were multiple individuals that were given the opportunity to serve along with Christ, but they dwindled out, right? So I'm excited to finish reading the book. I got to kind of dabble at it a little bit, and so I wanted to ask Terrell the question about, like, how did you come about with which scriptures you were going to kind of align the book out with?
Well, the title of the book is When the Walls Speak, Fathers Restoring Generational Confidence. And that first part, the main title, When the Walls Speak, I was actually reading about Nehemiah and how Nehemiah had on his heart to rebuild the walls. And after going through the necessary, procedures, he ended up building that wall in record time. It took him 52 days to make it happen, where it should have been much, much longer, right? But at the end of the day, as I'm reading this, the Lord starts to put on my heart, fathers. I'm like, all right, fathers. And anytime I would see walls, or when I would think about walls, I would think about fathers as I'm reading the word walls in the scripture. And as I'm meditating on it, I'm hearing fathers. I'm sorry. So, Lord, it sounds like my heart, what's happening in that process, my heart is now gravitating towards the father. Still, the vision is still to build up the young kings and the young queens. But I was thinking now, okay, if we can get the fathers in this thing, where it's not just me, but it's other fathers, and we come together collectively, we unite in solidarity, just like a wall, we're built up. We now are able to put the young kings and young queens in a better situation, in the sense that the walls are up, the walls are there to help protect, right? The walls are there to help bring about security, to help bring about a little bit more confidence too, knowing that, it is secure, right? I can be me. I can enjoy being a child. I can enjoy, my childhood, what's left of it, whatever the case is. And so I just got to think about all those different things. And that's really that's the passage, the biblical passage that this was founded on, was Nehemiah building the walls. And I love it. I love how everything turned out, because just as you alluded to, everybody has a role. Everybody plays a unique role. Everybody has a unique voice, and collectively we're able to give these young kings, young queens exactly what they need. And so I'm super, super honored to be a part of these this movement with these brothers, because of the kind of impact not only that we have made, but that we will make. And I believe God is going to breathe on the imagination in terms of what that looks like going forward. He's going to allow that thing to grow and the impact to really happen. But I see it being a global thing, man. Like, it's not just, you already see, like right now, it's national, right? We got Rashad, Mississippi. We got hmad, Waco. But from Houston, we got Casey. He's from Houston. He's in Austin. We got Terrell. He's in California. And it's like, it's already, starting to spread. But I believe, like, we ain't scratched the surface yet. Like, God is really about to do something in the lives of the fathers, and allowing the fathers to be united, to really take a stand for these young people. And then that's the other thing I would say, is that when I think about all of us have families that are represented in the book. But when I think about what we're doing, we're saying, all right, yep, I love my family. I do prioritize my family. But this right here, it goes beyond my family, right? It's not just about my family, right? It's not just about me, my four, no more, right? It's about truly being able to make a difference. And one of my favorite quotes is, a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. Our family doesn't lose anything by us going out there and lighting other candles, right? If anything, they gain, because now we feel more accomplished. We feel more satisfied, right? In the fact that we're able to help make an impact, make a difference in the lives of these young kings and these young queens. And so that's the part I really love, that we're unselfishly giving of ourselves, to make a difference.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. We talked about that before, I think, with the candle situation, to also piggyback on that. If my flame is running low and you still have yours on, then you're able to also help me reignite. Similar to KC being a connector. That's what triggered in my mind, is that KC already had the idea of a candle, because he's a connector, right? So KC, can you kind of talk to us about how did you come up with the idea to be a connector, and you felt like that was what God was leading you toward, versus you said something that you said. I want to be a real model, not a role model. So kind of put that together for me.
Yes, sir. Well, like how God deals with me, he deals with me with like pictures and images. So I remember seeing a spark plug, and I was like, a spark plug? I'm like, that's like one of the smallest things for a car, but it plays a big role. And I was like, what's so special about spark plugs? So I remember reaching out to one of my big brothers. He's a mechanic, Pastor Roland, and he told me about the spark plug. He's like, man, that's a major, because it can offset the engine and the cylinders and things like that. It causes misfires. So I was like, oh wow. So and he said that's what causes the like combustion to get the engine going. I was like, wow. So with that's where it started at, about that, like the fire, because I believe we all have a fire within us, but it's usually misused. That fire end up becoming anger, and anger is a secondary emotion, and if it's not used properly, anger always comes to defend. So it's like you got to use this anger and put it as fuel and put it in the right place. So that's why that's what inspired me about that as well too. And then your second question, can you repeat that second question?
Together. You made me go to a thought. You said that especially when you talk about the mechanic, it's changing out the spark plugs and how impactful it is to the car. We all have. I mean, that's really what Darrell was talking about, as well as myself with the Humble Dad podcast, is that it is a vehicle which it's called the movement, right? And we all have a particular part that we're playing to get this movement in the right direction. So as far as you being a connector, that's why you like, okay, well, I'm the spark plug for this particular part of the book, if you will, or even in the circle that I'm in, I'm connecting people to whoever they need to be connected to. And it sounds like you get like this an energy, if I could use that word, from being that connector, right? And so when you're operating in your gifting, there is this energy that you get that is really unexplainable. I think Pastor hmad would be able to kind of help us with that as well. I wanted to ask the question about like when have you seen the misuse of the gift compared to someone operating in their gift, whether it's a connector or whether it's an encourager? Does that make sense of a question? Pastor hmad?
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you were asking me. Re-ask that question one more time.
Oh, yeah. I was just asking the question about when, as a pastor of over different youth people, whether it's youth directors or people in your ministry, when have you seen like a misuse of somebody may have thought this was their gifting, but they were out of alignment?
Wow. Wow.
And what did that do? What did you see happening as a result?
Well, when people are operating outside of their gift or outside of their most natural state, you know what I'm saying, how God created them to flow, then you see them, they usually have to spend more energy on what they're doing. It doesn't flow well. And then there's a disconnect to where they're struggling because they're not seeing the results that they desire to see as a result of, them not operating inside of purpose. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, especially in the kingdom of God, we can kind of assign people places in service to God, as opposed to letting God reveal to them, first of all, who they are. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to know who you are before you get in a position. You know what I'm saying? And so that's really what God reveals to us, first of all, who he is. And through us understanding who he is, he reveals who he has created us to be. And then he can say, hey, because of how I've wired you, because of how I've uniquely modified your journey throughout life, you are prepared to serve in this capacity and add so much value in almost an effortless fashion because you're operating in your gift. You know what I'm saying? That it just brings light and makes impact and brings transformation in the lives of people who experience that gift. And you may not even be fully aware that you're flowing in that at that time. People just like, bro, when you do this, like, man, it just, you know what I'm saying? Or like, man, just, you know, it blesses me to see you, you know, doing this and this, and it helps me think about whatever. So, you know, those are some of the things that come to mind from that question you asked, brother.
That's what's up. Terrell, man, I'm gonna get this right one day, bro. When when Pastor is hmad is talking about the operating in the gifting and being in alignment, can you kind of talk to us about when you first discovered, like, what your goal, not your goal, but your role or your gifting was? Well, first of all, what is it? And then the other question is, when did you discover it, or how did you discover that?
Okay, yeah, I can speak to that. So I really believe that my gift is to give back to the youth, because I get a real delight out of seeing a kid turn on by something I've showed them, I've talked to them, or, you know, just having conversation. Like I said, I've been coaching youth football for years, and I get a joy out of just coaching. And I'm just now realizing that it's more to it than just coaching. You know, I like the game of football. We're out there because we like football, but it's not just coaching. It's the fact that I'm working with a kid or 2 or 30, and to see a kid turn on, just like, you know, smiling and coach, and, you know, to see them turn on by something I've taught them or showed them, that's where I get my joy from. And I think I discovered it kind of by accident, to be honest. I'm thinking all these years that, you know, I just like coaching football, just like, you know, probably most of these brothers on there. We like football. We like to coach. But seeing a kid that come to the field and he's struggling, and then seeing him by the end of the season, he's one of the best players, and his grades are going up, and his parent is telling him, yeah, little Johnny is doing great. You know, I'm like, that to me, that's fulfilling to me. And I think that's what kind of motivates me. I think I've discovered it kind of by chance. I've been telling my lady for the longest, you know what, there's something more for me. There's something bigger for me. It's more than just what I'm doing now. I think I have a bigger audience to cater to, you know, and I think I'm working in that moment now. Yeah.
That's good stuff. So as a coach, I know I had several coaches, and the ones that I remember most was the ones that poured into me the most, meaning, like, I had one coach, his name Coach Runny. When I was playing basketball, I started when I was 7, and he would come pick me up from my house to take me to practice because my mom was working long hours. I remember he would get my hair cut. He would give us money to go, because I was from the hood in South Dallas, and he would take us to go get a haircut. He would take us to go get some food, and he was always there, seeming like when I needed him. He was also strict on us. Like, we had to run if we missed layups, and we was like 8, 9 years old, you know. So, and I've played basketball ever since then, but that's the one coach that I remembered the most. And so that's good that you recognize as a coach your value, because there are coaches that just do it because of something other than the kid, right? So it's good that you recognize that the wealth that you provide is teaching that kid something about yourself, making yourself human, if you will. And so I wanted to ask Rashad.
And can I add something to that, bro?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
And just as Terrell was speaking, another thing God brought to my heart is that when you're operating in your gift, it energizes you. You know what I'm saying? Because there was an energy that manifested as Terrell was talking, and God just, like, you know, when I think, and it made me think about the things that I'm doing, lead advisor to the president, movement up in these schools, worship director, and preaching pastor at the hip hop service. Even though I may be going through something in my life, when I am going to engage those processes, I feel a jolt. I feel God drop in my spirit what I'm supposed to say, and, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. And so no matter what, when I am engaging in those activities that I have been gifted and called to do, it will energize me in that moment in a way that I can't explain. And so that, you know, no matter what's going on, when you operating in your gift, you know what I'm saying, you could be driving there just, you know, going through it. But then when you arrive and you step to the stage or you step into that interaction with that young king or that young queen, the anointing comes upon you in such a way where it jolts you into action and empowers you to accomplish the task that the gift was placed inside of you to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's what came to me as brother Terrell was talking, man.
Man, I thought I was gonna have to pay you some tithes when I thought you was about to start hooping for a moment. Hey, but for sure you spoke a word, like, because he said that he got energized, right? And I'm, just to be candid, before we got on, I was telling Daryl, and I think hmad may have been a part of the conversation. I was sharing with how frustrated I was like 30 minutes before the call, because I was trying to deal with my business and a person that I'm dealing with, and how it got me so frustrated. But I knew that I had this coming, which is the Humble Dad podcast, and to be here with you all. And there was this energy that you really cannot explain that came over me, to be ready and try. And I was like, I got to have enough questions. I'm thinking about all these different things to make sure that this goes off well. But then there was also this calmness to it, to be like, okay, I got you. So, and it's going to go in the way that I need it to go. So that's a really dope word that you said there, Pastor hmad. Did anybody else want to add something? Like, I don't have to ask questions. I'm cool with just dialoguing. I just wanted to try to give everybody enough time to say what it is that they feel needed to be said. So I'm okay with interruptions. I'm a teacher, so I understand the process of that. So just let me know.
You know what? I want to make another point here, or make a comment here. You know what I've noticed over the years with working with the youth, sometimes you don't, or I'll just say in my case, sometimes I wasn't even aware that I was making a change for the better in the kid's life. It took me, a couple years ago, it took me by surprise, caught me off guard when a kid that I was coaching, he was kind of laid back, wasn't giving his all, and his dad told me so. But I was kind of on this case throughout the season. But at the end of the season, the kid made a point. We were taking pictures. The kid made a point to walk all the way from the other side of where we're taking pictures and come stand next to me during this picture. And I kind of looked at him and looked down. I'm like, okay, all right. So to me, that was kind of reassurance that he understood what I was doing, and he kind of, took a liking to me because I rode him hard, and he excelled in doing so. And, speaking with his dad, his dad even told me, he says, hey, man, I don't know what it is, but you kind of had a way with him, because I haven't seen him step up and, play this game like this. I've even coached my son, and, with you coaching, there was something there. So that made me feel good, because I was completely unaware that I had any impact on him. So I just want to throw that out there.
No, that's good stuff. I appreciate you adding that. I wanted to ask a question to Rashad, because I like to talk to lots of people, but I like to get perspectives that are different than mine. In the sense of, like, I wasn't raised with my father in my house, so I really enjoy talking to those that had that or have that opportunity. Can you kind of shed some light to us, or talk to us about, first of all, when did you recognize that your dad was being valuable to you? Because I know, like, if somebody's, I'm having a hard time with someone, and they're trying to tell me what to do all the time, that could be frustrating, because as a parent, I'm talking to my kid and I can see them being frustrated, right? But when did you recognize that your dad was being a help to you versus a hindrance?
Shoot, I was probably in my 20s, because obviously when you're younger, you don't really catch it in the moment. So it was really probably in my 20s when I was able to actually look back, because one of the things that I feel manhood brings to you, it brings a level of calmness. It brings a level of having the type of understanding to not overreact. So one of the things that, aside from many lessons, but one of the things that really stuck to me about my father is I never seen him get mad. It was plenty of instances that I would see things that would, infuriate me, but it wouldn't make him mad. And so as I got older, I encountered situations where I could have easily flown off the handle, but I thought back to my father. I said, you know what? My dad wouldn't handle this situation like this. He would calm himself down. If a person is, getting out of line with them or something like that, he'll calmly, speak to him and resolve and dead the issue right there. So that was one of the things when I finally got old enough to actually start working and being around adult people, like, and seeing how they operate, because everyone doesn't have the same intentions that you have. Everyone doesn't come from the same background that you come from. Everybody doesn't have the same upbringing. Some people, to steal a word from females, people are messy and things of that nature. And the men that are like that are labeled gender-wise a man, but they don't behave in that way. And so by me being around my father, being around a man's man, and seeing how he would navigate those situations, that's when it hit me. He's like, okay, Rashad, this is one of the things that your father taught you, but obviously you were too naive at that age to understand it. So now it's time to look back at other things and realize, okay, it was because of him that you did it that way. It was because of him that you reacted that way. It was because of him that you opened that door for that person, or took a burden from somebody else and put it on your shoulders because your shoulders are broad enough to handle the extra weight. So it wasn't probably until my 2021 when I really realized that, you know what, that old man taught me a lot of stuff. It's hindsight. That old man taught me a lot of stuff.
That's what's up. I appreciate you sharing that. As you were talking, I'm thinking about like how influential we are, along with what Terrell said, that we have no idea how much what we do is impacting people that we are unaware of that they're watching. Right now, for you, it was your dad being in your house, and I'm sure he was intentional about the things that he was doing. And that, because that kind of go along with what Terrell was saying, and he was saying that men are the walls, because he's comparing men to walls in the sense of that it provides protection, stability, structure, right? Which is what your dad was doing for you, and probably still is, based on based on how you still talk about him. And so as we come to some type of close, because this is really dope dialogue. Daryl, kind of talk to the people about, like, what is it that the next step from here? Like, what are you going to be doing to get more of these opportunities or books or whatever, or podcasts into? Because you say you want it to be global. So what is your strategy in trying to get that to happen? And how can people be a part of that?
Yeah, I would say this, that for us, we're going to start where we are, in our respective places. And I believe just being able to do more podcast interviews such as this is going to help us to get the word out there. And also, we're going to take it a step further. For me personally, I have an organization called The Size of a Man. Like I say, the whole mission is to break the cycles of fatherlessness and poverty through mentorship. And this summer, we're putting on 8 leadership camps for the young kings and for the young queens. And when you talk about an amazing experience, like, it truly is an amazing experience for the young kings and the young queens. And by the time we get to day 5, they don't want to leave. So we plan on doing more things along those lines. As hmad was saying, how he's very involved with the schools, same thing, getting involved with those schools. And so I would say this for anybody that's listening: if there's an opportunity, where you feel, hey, we definitely want to have more male influence in the schools, please, look us up, because we won't hesitate to make that happen. For me, if you, as you start to read this book, one of the things that I'll point out in the book is that there's a generational cry that's happening. There's a generational cry that, we see these young people, you see them acting out, and we say, oh, you bad, or you hard headed, you ain't got no respect for but we people rarely dig down and figure out, okay, what's the reason why are they doing this? And if we dig deep enough, we'll realize, you know what, that it's actually a cry for help. It's not that they're not just being bad for the sake of being bad. It's a cry for help. Some of them they got these open wounds that salt is being poured into, so to speak, you know, because maybe dad isn't there, or if dad is there, he's not connected, right? And so what I found is that for us, it's something about a dad's voice that when we speak, we command the attention of that child. Even as a baby, we can speak, and that baby, you know what I mean? It'll start to get quiet, right? Just hearing that voice, right? And even as they get older, like, they need to hear that voice. And that's the reason why we're pushing as hard as we are. And we're going to ramp it up to where we want to get more appearances on the podcast. We want to get more opportunities to get in front, because ultimately what we're looking to do is to light another dad's candle. Not just the young kings and young queens. We want to light another dad's candle, another man's candle. Because they may be an aspiring father, just like Rashad, right? We want to light another man's candle so that they can join forces, unite with us in their respective places, and be able to make an impact in the lives of the young kings and young queens. So that's what we're after. So we're looking for more podcast interviews, looking for conferences to be a part of. That's one thing that we did talk about, putting on a conference for this year, you know, as well. And that's something we still have to, you know, work out as far as the details. But it's just, we're in the brainstorming stage, so to speak, as far as the bigger things. But while we're brainstorming, we're going to work in our respective places. I know Rashad, he's actually going to be coming out to one of the leadership camps because he wants to do that there in Mississippi, right? And so I'm looking forward to that. I know Terrell, he's doing his thing in terms of speaking to the young people and coaching. With KC, I think you talked about how you were coaching. I don't know if you're coaching right now, but that you did coach, right? And so we're still trying to get him out to one of our leadership camps as well to be a speaker. Hmad going to continue to do his thing in terms of ministry and school, but we're always looking for opportunities to collaborate. And so I'm super excited. I don't know if you can show the picture of the people on the book or the authors in the book, but if you can't, I'll just say this. When we think about the 13 authors of When the Walls Speak, we have a variety of authors that are in this book. Some are educators, some are businessmen. We have a dentist that's actually in there. We have ministers that are in there, right? And so you can take a look and you can see how the picture says it all. And this is what I'm after right here. I want to see us united as men to make that difference in the lives of our young kings, our young queens, period. Women, I believe the ones that have been involved and have sacrificed, they've done an amazing job. But it's time for us as men to really step up and to go beyond our four walls, go beyond our household, right? And so that's the call to action right there for the men. And that's what we're going to continue to push going forward.
That's what's up. I really appreciate this, man. This has been phenomenal. I have like 2 more questions if you have time. I kind of talked to y'all about those questions. Hopefully you've thought about them, because people typically don't have an answer. That's why I give them time to with the question. And that question is, what TV dad would you say that you compare yourself most to? And then for Rashad, you can give us which one would you aspire to be, or you can give us an idea of your own dad. You know, who would you categorize him as far as a TV dad, whether it's current or past? It really doesn't matter. And we'll start with we'll go KC, Terrell, Hmad, and then if Rashad comes back, and then Daryl.
Yes, sir. I would say the TV dad. I was just thinking about, like, when you said TV, I was thinking about the movie Pursuit of Happiness. Will Smith as Christopher Gardner.
Okay.
As being like a single father and And even though he had his son, he didn't let that stop him from accomplishing his dream and his goal. And well, like how life, you know, he was going through some life challenges, and you know, life gonna be life, and life hit him with some blows. But he, you know, he kept going. You know, it was times where like he cried, but you know, he kept hope alive, and that got him to being, you know, he just needed an opportunity. And then I like the part, my favorite part is when he told his son, he said, don't let anybody tell you what you can't do, even if it's me. And like, I believe that right there was like the strongest part, because a lot of times, like we as fathers, sometimes not down talking Mr. Ball that got his sons in legacy with basketball, right? He didn't make it, but he created the platform and the appearance that they gonna get to the league, and it happened, right? So and that's the one thing like that just really stood out to me. That's one person that that I just love how the whole storyline. You know, it seemed like a make-believe story, but it happened in real life. So,
no, that's a good one. That's a good one. I don't know, who do I have next? Go ahead.
Terrell?
Yes,
Terrell
is fine, yes. And then we'll go with Rashad, then we go to Ahmad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as far as a TV dad, I think I probably fall along the lines of Mr. James Evans from Good Times. Now let me clarify something though. I'm not as stern as James is.
Listen, you cannot say that that's you and then take out what the character is.
I gotta clarify, because he was very stern. I like to have some rules. I like some structure, you know, and I believe, you know, every household needs that, you know. And you know, as far as who would I like to be, you know, in my opinion, man, my dad was great. You know, my dad has passed. He passed away years ago, and I was having this conversation with someone else, and I still believe to this day that my dad had so much more to teach me. And I was told that maybe your dad left when your dad passed when he was supposed to, because that was like the beginning of your story. You have yet to finish that chapter or that book in your story. And I was like, you know what? Maybe you're right. So as growing up, I thought my dad was stern and, you know, he don't bend. But as I got older, I'm like, I understand. I really do. So TV father, James Evans, I'd like to be just like my dad.
That's dope, man. That's phenomenal. Rashad, what you got?
I think I like to say my dad was like Damian Wayans for my wife and kids. He was funny. He was firm when he needed to be firm. And a lot of the ways that he would do Junior, I felt like that he would do me like that sometimes. He would allow for me to act out, and then if I want to go ahead and do it, he'd say, okay, we'll go do it, you know. And then when I couldn't do it, you know, he would still be right there, you know, extending the olive branch. And I feel like that, you know, that's who I am, because I'm a jovial person. I like to make people laugh, you know, but I'm, you know, serious, so I feel like I have a good balance. So that's what I would compare myself to, as well as my father.
That's what's up. Ahmad?
Man, that boy took mine.
He did.
I was thinking about my wife and kids, but I'm gonna flip it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh snap.
You can use it. Maybe
I'm gonna pull something else out that just popped in my head. Was like Herman Munster, dog, from the Monsters back in the day. Now the reason why, like,
oh wow,
bro, that's back in the day, right? And so, like, reason why I picked that cat just popped in my head was a lot of times, like, if he was just straight face, you wouldn't like, is he mad? You know what I'm saying? People kind of, but when he laughed, the jovialness of the laugh, it just filled the room. He talked with his kids, talked with his wife. He was sweet with his wife. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, when I think about, you know, that piece, I was like, man, you know, because sometimes my kids used to ask me like, Dad, you mad? I'm like, nah, I ain't mad. Like, and I gotta remind myself, like, bro, like I had to tell myself, you need to smile more, dog. Like, you're happy on the inside, but sometimes you don't outwardly express it as much, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, but when I do, like, laugh and I'm cracking jokes and stuff like that, it's on. But we can have those serious conversations. The way that I love my wife around my kids, you know, they see what healthy love looks like with a husband and a wife, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what's up. So
that is dope, man. I have never heard anybody say Herman Monster. And man, that I saw, like when you said that, I saw exactly what you was talking about. I'm glad you went a different direction. That was dope. And last but not least, Mr. Terrell.
That's crazy, man. Y'all had a lot of good ones, and I'm like, I don't even know, like, to pick something different. At first, I was thinking Dr. Huxtable. I was thinking that, and I said, no, not so much that. In terms of the profession, no. But then I was thinking Carl Winslow from Family Matters. It's like, no, not really that. Servant, you know, like I like to serve the community. But I feel like for me, probably Terry Crews from Everybody Hates Chris. Is that the right show? Yeah.
The show, yes.
Yeah, and I think the reason why I say Terry Crews is because as big and as intimidating as he can be, it's like he laughs and jokes like it's cool. You know what I mean? Like, he's goofy. And if you ever around me long enough, like, you'll see that I got that goofiness in me, especially when I'm at the house, right? And but I like to keep it light. You know, I like to keep it as light as I can. But at the same time, I'm like my old mentor used to tell me, I laugh and joke, but I don't play, right? You know, I know how to be stern. I know how to, you know, do what I got to do, right? But at the end of the day, like, I love to just laugh, man, to really enjoy the moment, because tomorrow ain't promised. It ain't promised, man. The next breath ain't promising. So I would say I would have to go with that one. Although Pursuit of Happiness, come on, Chris Gardner.
Listen,
I like that one, Casey, for real.
Listen, I was gonna say something to that one too, but I know time is short. The Pursuit of Happiness, and you said that statement that you said, be who you supposed to be, even if I come against you. Like, I had a guest named Jason Earls. He's a comedian. He was saying something similar to where his dad was telling him not to become a comedian, but he was like, and this was the dude similar to what Terrell was saying. I love this dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to be like him. And here's a person that I want to be like is telling me to go against what I feel is my dream. And so he put aside what his dad said and went for his dream. And now he's a full-time comedian for the past 5 years, I think. So that was a really good one. So I really appreciate it. I don't know if y'all have time for one more question or not. Do y'all have time for one more question? I know people are busy. Okay, the last question that I have is, how do you want to be remembered? What do you want people to say about you as an individual? There was a question that my daughter was asked on Sunday in church, but I ask this regularly. But what would they say about you if you were to die today? That's what I want to ask. And so we can start from we'll go from Daryl, hmad, Terrell, Rashad, and then KC. And then Daryl, you can wrap it up at the end as far as like what you want people to do or whatever you want to say. You have the last part. All right. Here we go.
So how would I want to be remembered, or what do I want people to remember me as or for? I would say a man that gave his all, you know, that gave his all to leaving this world better than the way that he found it. You know, I think that's for me. I don't want to die with anything in me, nothing left in me. I want it all to be put out there. Everything that God has put into me, I want it to come out because I want to inspire the next people, the people that are watching, to do just the same thing. Any and everything that's in you that needs to come out. And so I would say that that leader of leaders, that legacy builder, that's what he was. He gave his all in creating legacy.
Man, some of the things that come to mind is somebody who loved and cared about people. And that love overflowed where his kids began to serve in the same way. Like, I want to create a legacy of love. I also want to create a legacy in which my children and others that I interact with know the value of being able to add value when you come into an environment or a relationship or a business or a whatever, you know what I'm saying? And that people felt welcome when they came into my presence, regardless of what sin they was in, what issue they going through, you know, whatever. It's like, bro, like, I feel like he may not agree with my lifestyle, but that dude loved me. You know what I'm saying? And so I've, you know, and that's based on some things that I have been told, you know what I'm saying, where students that I've served at Methodist Children's Home, you know, who are lesbian or gay, they're like, man, I know you don't agree with my lifestyle, but bro, I can call you for anything, Pastor Mod, and you love me. Like, you keep it 1,000 with me. You know what I'm saying? And so, and that's the type of, in terms of non-monetary legacy I want to leave, but ultimately I do want to leave a monetary legacy as well, where my family ain't worrying about how they're going to pay for my, my services, and that I leave a business in the hand of my son who has a young entrepreneurial spirit that he can take hold of movement up and continue to branch out and do whatever he feels led to do with that. So that's what's up.
Okay. You know, I want to be remembered for, you know, being a great husband. I'm not married yet. Great husband, a great dad, of course, and be known for the guy that can't be beat. You know, he's going to go through some things. He's going to get beat down. He's going to have some struggles, but that dude is not going away. He is not going away. You can't beat him. You know, that's what I want to be remembered for, because, you know, right, you know, at this point, you know, there's probably some things that, there are some things that I'm going through, but, you know, I know it's only a matter of time before things change around. And I think people that are close to me, the people that I've dealt with, will see that, you know what, this dude Terrell, he's all right. He's a great man. And I really believe that the youngsters that I've come in contact with will remember me as being a great coach, a great friend, and someone that they would aspire to be. So that's kind of where I am with mine, you know.
Rashad, what you got?
I want to be remembered as a person that put a smile on people's face. I want people to say that, you know, I was down and Rashad cracked a joke and just lit the whole room up. But I also want to be remembered as the individual that, when it was time to help, when it was time to lend a helping hand, when it was time to give guidance, Rashad was that person. He was a well-rounded individual, and we may have something bad to say about him, but the bad doesn't outweigh the good. So that's what I want to be remembered for.
And for me, I want to be remembered as somebody that was mad. And mad for me is an acronym meaning making a difference. And that's, I got that from Jude 122. And it says, and some having compassion, making a difference. You know, and with compassion, just I like to play with words. Compassion, if you break it down, is come past our own. Compassion, come past our own. So the things that I believe in, I don't want it to just die with me, because a lot of times people go to the grave rich with information that can I'm talking about, it can pass wealth to other generations. And, you know, so I don't want to go to my grave full, but go to my grave empty. So I can just, like Jesus said, it is finished, So, and that's just the way I feel, I just want to just make a difference, and I love to make a difference one-on-one, this arena, like just talking podcast, this is all new to me. I'm used to being one-on-one behind the scenes. I love that, where, cause you can, it's one-on-one, and I know Pastor Mon know what I'm talking about. It's like, look, you can be as genuine as you need to be with a person, because sometimes you have to meet a person where they at, and you can't be so deep, but just want to just make a difference, and just have somebody say, that, just had a conversation with KC, and that conversation allowed me to rethink some things. I was about to go kill somebody, but then I rethought that me killing that one person, it was going to affect my life, their life, and so on, and just see the bigger picture. So that's why I want to be remembered as someone that's mad and making a difference.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Terrell, you have the last words.
And you can see why I counted an honor, right, to be amongst these men, these brothers. We all have that common thread, which is, in the words that KC just shared, we desire to make a difference. And not something that's temporary, not something that's going to be forgotten, but something where there's a permanent change, a permanent transformation that has taken place. Why? Because we had walked on this earth, right? And we gave it our all, man. We allowed God to work through us, and I'm super excited about what's to come. And I know that may be an understatement, but all I can say is, one, keep your eyes open. For those that are watching, keep your eyes open to what's happening. If you know a dad, if you know a man, encourage them to step up and to be who they are created to be, who they are ordained to be. Sincerely, like don't be that one that beats them down because of the mistake. As Ahmad was saying, let it be to where when they get into your presence, they can feel comfortable coming to your presence, because you're going to build them up. Even though you may not agree with their lifestyle, their choices that they're making, find a way to be able to encourage them to make a difference in their lives, for them to step up. And I promise you, when we do that, the things that we see in this world, they will begin to diminish so much. The darkness that we see, it begins to be eradicated, right? Because we're lighting candles. We're lighting candles. And so, with all that being said, for those who are interested in getting a book, you can definitely go to Amazon and get it. That's fine. But I would encourage you to go to this website. Now I'll drop it in the, I don't know if I can drop it in the chat, but I'll drop it in the chat for you to post, Elijah. But at the end of the day, that's where you can get your autographed copy. Either way, get your book, get a book for a young king, young queen that put it into their hands. That's all I ask for, at the end of the day. For those that are looking for us to come in and make a difference, like, please look us up. You can see my handle right here at Terrell W. Thomas. That's across all platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can find me there if you want to make that connection. I have one part in this book that I just want to share, and then yeah, I'm done. I'm done. But it's the introduction. It's right here, right now. I'm not joking. We want for you to win, and to win big. We want to help you as bad as we want to breathe. We desire to help you find your confidence, your way, your swag, your voice. Whether it's advice, clarity, inspiration, or validation, we understand that you need it. Just realize that it is coming. In fact, the help that you seek is right here, right now. When the walls speak as a collaboration of men, most of whom are fathers, who believe wholeheartedly that the success of the generations that follow rests squarely on our shoulders. The way to ensure that they succeed is for us to unite as men in solidarity, just as a wall, and to protect and secure the confidence and character of our young kings and young queens. Please don't let ego, pride, or insecurities rob you of this opportunity. You choosing to receive that helping hand or word of advice just may be the decision that saves you. Do not refuse the help. For real, at one point we were in close proximity. We were in your shoes and we walked along the same path. We experienced similar challenges, hardships, and adversities. We wondered if life would ever get better or should we just give up. We questioned our worth. We doubted our potential. We listened to the wrong voices. We were that child that got lost on the way home. We were that man that was out of control, vomiting and seizing up. We were that baby that couldn't breathe because curiosity got the best of us. But guess what? We made it. We found our way, but not on our own. It was because someone inconvenienced themselves and put us towards the top of their list. They prioritized our needs and saw to it that we received the necessary help. This is our hope, that as you read the power-packed stories found in this book, you'll find yourself living again rather than merely existing. Allow yourself to be pulled out of the mental fires that threaten to burn down your promising life. Give yourself permission to receive the lessons that each author shares, for this may be the CPR that you need to resuscitate you and your purpose. The experiences that you will read about may be the one that pries open your wrecked heart, freeing you to love and trust again. The only requirement for reading this book is to go in willing to receive the help that is unselfishly given. Well, get to the spot where you can focus intently on the stories written. You may need to quiet the room, but definitely quiet the chatter that's in your mind. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. Clear. Now, let's begin as you listen to the walls speak. I'm saying, guys, like, for real, this is a book that I promise you is going to make a difference. Get it. Pass it on to young king, young queen. Once again, thank you, brothers, for being a part of it. Thank you, Elijah, for the opportunity, man.
Absolutely. Thank y'all, man. It's been a pleasure to meet you all and talk to you all. God bless. And you have people like it, share it, comment, and even subscribe to the channel. We out here. Deuces.